Thank you for joining the War Crime Tour. My name is Ben. I'm an unemployed middle-aged American that used to be an attorney, might still be. Haven't had a paycheck in 4.5 years. I shower once a week by an agreement. I hand out adult diapers and macaroni for my friends here at the front. Nice to meet you. So, one of the things that's really important is, well, they call it line of fire protection. That's what the fancy Nancy's call it. I'm from Kentucky, and I call it hiding behind a wall. So everything's coming this way. Tank rounds, mortar rounds, artillery rounds. It rotates around. It's not on us right now, but it will be. And it's always most dangerous when it's quiet. So right now, we've got line of fire protection. Now, does that mean you're safe? Hells no. Something lands over there, the shrapnel goes in every direction. So obviously, if you're hiding behind this wall and the shrapnel hits you right here, okay, so nothing's safe. But you want to be on this side as opposed to that side. One thing you got to be careful about there is these gaps right here. Because, you know, you get a mortar round or something, there's hundreds of rounds lobbed across here every day. And at some point, one's going to catch one of those gaps. You see that? That's what and when it does, as it did one fateful day some time ago, it went right through there. I landed right here across the street. Sorry, war crime debris from the drones. We'll get to that in a second. And it landed right here. Now, drone debris from other war crimes, forgive me. The thing about shrapnel is it can travel a long way. And if a mortar round catches that gap, as it did one fine Wednesday morning way back when, and a defenseless civilian in a city that the Russians gave up is walking right here, that piece of shrapnel can go, as it did right here, and take off half of her head. And she could die in cold blood, as she did right here. And these flowers right here mark where she fell, a defenseless civilian butchered by the Russian terrorist state in a city that they said they gave up as a goodwill gesture. They have systematically destroyed for no reason whatsoever. For the record, that is 40 paces from your free store. More recent innovation in Russian war criminality is, of course, hunting defenseless civilians with FPV drones. Now, this is a perfect runway for a Russian FPV drone. The Russian soldiers have a wide open lane here to select defenseless civilians and to execute them for no reason whatsoever. And they have. They're particularly fond of vehicles, and so quite a few people have burned to death right here. And you see both the shrapnel marks and the remnants. This is a war crime scene. 2 or 3 vehicles right here. One that hasn't been moved yet. So, the Russians love to target defenseless civilians. And for the record, that is 13 paces from your free store right here, where Russian soldiers, for no reason whatsoever, targeted them, and where defenseless humans burned to death, executed by soldiers of the Russian Federation. That is our second stop on the war crime tour. And so far so good, but okie dokie. You know, nothing's safe. Even something like this is going to get hit by shrapnel. But if the Russians, I don't know, dropped one of those bombs right in the middle of the city, an urban environment, chock full of defenseless civilians in a place that they said they gave up as a goodwill gesture, where there's no combat, they're on the other side of the river, and where there is absolutely no military. If they did, then these things are going to go bye-bye. That is, in fact, exactly what happened right here at our last remaining cafe back in March. And you see the remnants of that little... And that particular war crime hit close to home, as I happened to be in this cafe when it was destroyed. So, at present, that concludes our war crime tour of the atrocities perpetrated in a very short distance of the free store. Obviously, throughout the city, there are legion of them. The Russian Federation hunts and executes in cold blood God's defenseless civilians here all day. You know, I speak from a position of personal knowledge. I don't, you know, this is not like things I heard. These are things that I personally witnessed and in some cases personally experienced. So I'm happy to answer your questions. Fire away.